Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jada Nicole. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. So today's video is going to be about international travel. I know that during this time we're not allowed to travel, which really does suck because I had a few vacations planned coming up that I don't think I'll be able to go on, but nonetheless it helps you save more money for future travels, and you know, this helps you get prepared for when we're allowed to travel. So for those of you who don't know me personally, I'm big on international travel. I've probably been to more countries than I've been to states, which is very shocking to say on camera because I'm just big on international traveling. Certain parts of the world your money can really stretch, where I feel like in the United States it's very hard to make your money stretch because the places that you want to go to, like I want to go to Miami, expensive. Atlanta, not so expensive, but like LA, expensive. So you got to just be mindful. And if you're not from New York, just going to New York itself is expensive. So I always thought that it would be better to travel abroad because you get more bang for your buck, and that's always been my motto. So I'm gonna list all the countries that I currently have been to. I'm gonna start from one hemisphere to another. So I've been to Mexico, been to the Bahamas, I've been to Hawaii. Some people don't count Hawaii as a country, whatever, I'm just saying it. I've been to Canada. Okay, now let's work. I've been to Iceland, London, the UK. I've been to Paris, France. I've been to the Netherlands, Amsterdam. I've been to Italy, Sicily, and Greece. That's all of Europe. I've been to China. I've been to Thailand. I've been to Bali. What other countries? I feel like I'm missing some. Greece. I'm like going through the map on my head for right now, and I think that was all the countries that I've been to. Yes, I think those are all the countries I've been to. I'm not 100% sure, but those are most of them. I was supposed to go to Miami for my birthday in June, and I was supposed to go to Cabo in July, and due to the coronavirus I don't think I'm gonna get to do that, but it helps me save more money for my next vacation. I really want to go to Egypt. I think that'd be super cool and super dope to do that. So I'm just you know, saving money, but I thought these tips and tricks would help anyone who hasn't been across the country, across the world, because it's definitely different traveling in the States than it is internationally, and I wanted to give you some of the tips and tricks that I learned over the years. So the first one is check the currency. I think this is very important because it allows you to know how much money you need to save or how much you are going to need to bring to spend, because certain countries have different currency, obviously, and sometimes our dollar is more than their money, and sometimes their money is more than our dollars. So I know when I went to Bali, 100 US dollars was 1.5 million of whatever their money is called. I'm not even gonna try to butcher the name, and that was just there. But when I went to London, our dollar was less than the pound. So I think $1 was, I don't remember, I feel like, I don't know, I just know their money is more than us, the euro is more than us. So it's just good to keep in mind so you know how much you're going to be spending and how much, like, so you could do the conversion in your head if you're good. Like I always have the conversion on my phone because I think it's very important to put it into US dollars so you know exactly how much you're spending. When you hear, oh, it's £7, you're like, £7, that's probably like $8-9, but like just so you get an understanding of how much you're paying for stuff while you're away. So I always feel like that's very important. It's also very important to see where to exchange money. So I used to always be a firm believer that you should exchange your money in the airport. Me and my best friend used to do that all the time. Don't know why, because I realized with my bank I don't get charged a transaction fee, and I actually save so much more money doing it at my bank. And for those of you who are wondering, I have Bank of America, and they don't charge me at all. So I think that seeing what options are out there for you and what's in your city or in your state or in your branch of whatever bank you do have is extremely important, because that can save you also a lot of money that you may be able to utilize on your trip. So the next thing, I know a lot of people don't do this, is make an itinerary. So the reason why I stress make an itinerary is because things don't run how they do in the United States. And that's to be said, like, we everything's open late. You know, you could go to the club in New York City at 12, 1 o'clock because it don't close till 4 or 5. But in other countries, it's not necessarily like that. So I know when I went to Europe recently, I went to Europe in March, I personally made an itinerary, and on that itinerary I had the name of the place, the address, the hours of operation, because it's very important, because sometimes you may wake up late, so your itinerary gets pushed back. So it's good to know when they close, the address, because you may jump in a cab because you're in a rush and you'd be like, oh, take me here. I remember we did that. We jumped in a cab in London, was like, oh, take us to this cabaret place, Proud Cabaret, and they were looking at us like, what? So then by having the address on the itinerary, it allows me to tell them the address exactly where to take us, because sometimes they may not know where you want to go if you aren't in like an Uber or a Lyft or like a car service that knows where you're going and you plan this ahead of time. So it's always good to have an itinerary, and it makes you maximize the amount of time you have there. We are only away for a certain amount of time, so time is of the essence, and you must, you know, have an itinerary to keep you on track so that you can see everything you want to see while you are there. I really can't stress that enough. Itineraries are key, honestly. I love a good itinerary. So you also want to research the government and like the news and see what's going on. Like, I know I personally don't do this, but my mom does this for me, because, you know, she's very diligent and she wants to make sure that I'm safe when I travel. So I know when the first time I went to Greece, they were having like economic issues, and there were a lot of protests and stuff like that. That's just stuff to keep mindful of, because you don't want to go to a country and not understand what state they're in, because it can be very dangerous. You know, you just want to be mindful. You are in a foreign country. We are from America, and I feel like sometimes that puts like a target on your back, so you just want to be mindful of that and just know what's going on in the countries that you are going to. So I always feel like that's very important. You also want to see if you're going to need a visa when you go. So a lot of countries, for the most part, you don't need visas to go to. I have never needed a visa. The only place I needed a visa for was China, when I went to China before the coronavirus. Okay? So I went to China probably in 2017, and we weren't staying in China. We were just there like on a layover. So we went to like the Forbidden City and the Great Wall of China, and we needed a visa to like leave the airport. They weren't gonna let us leave the airport without a visa, so it's good to know that ahead of time. Sometimes certain countries aren't gonna let you into the States if you don't have a visa, so it's always good to see if you do need a visa to get into the country, because you need to apply for that as well. So you want to know that ahead of time, because you don't want to get to the country and then I don't even know what would happen if you don't have a visa. But just be mindful if you do need a visa. That's very important. Also, bring a converter. I learned this the hard way when I went to Europe. I don't know why I didn't think to. I did bring a converter. Correction, I did bring a converter. It wasn't the right converter. So just be mindful. Not all hotels have the USB port that you can plug your phone in, and if you have the updated phone, then you really just need to bring your whole charger and bring adapter with your charger, because sometimes you're just going to be out of luck. Most of the time the front desk will provide them for you, or will have them so that you can buy, but it just saves you time and money and the stress, because everyone knows when your phone dies, you die along with it. Like, you don't want that to happen in a foreign country. Like, that's your only form of communication with you and the US and your whole entire family. So just be mindful. Bring a converter, and make sure it's the right converter for the right country, because I bought a converter in London and it didn't work in Paris, but then it worked in Amsterdam. So just be mindful of where you're going and what converters you need to bring along with you to you know, to charge your devices. It also includes like flat irons, curlers, wands. You're not going to be able to do any of that without a converter, so just be mindful, because that's important, girls. You know, we have to have our hair done. So and this one I thought was like a given, but my friend Tori didn't know this, or I don't know, because me and my best friend, we do this. We make sure that we have luggage locks. I literally talked to my coworkers and my friend Tori, and she didn't lock her luggage, and I just think that's so weird that you're not gonna lock your luggage. I lock my carry-on and my checked luggage, and the reason why it's important to lock your luggage is because, say if you want to check out early and your flight is later in the day and you want to still like go do like touristy things, like go shopping, souvenir shopping, or go to this last museum, you could leave your stuff with the bellman. So when you do that, you want it to be locked, because God forbid they could go into a room and rummage through your luggage and take whatever they want. You want to be mindful of that. And another reason, if you're traveling in Europe especially, you can take trains to a lot of the different cities in Europe, and when you do that, they allow you to bring your luggage on, but you leave them in a set destination. So like when you get into the train, there's a spot right there for you to leave your luggage, and then you go into the cart and you sit down. So you also aren't like able to 24/7 monitor your luggage, so it's always good to lock it, because you don't want anything to go missing or be stolen from you, because it's not a fun feeling at all. It never happened to me from my luggage, but you just want to be mindful, like especially a lot of countries are not as well off as the United States, and you know, so you just want to be mindful, because you don't want that to happen, because if they stole your favorite pair of jeans or whatever out of your luggage, you would be upset. So also you want to research the best way to travel in the country. So I know in the United States we're big on Uber and Lyft, and that's usually always worked, but some countries that I've been to don't have Uber or Lyft, and you don't want to have to take taxis everywhere, because taxis tend to be more expensive. But most countries do have alternatives to Uber and Lyft, like their own version of Uber and Lyft. So just figuring out what those are, because that could save you a ton of money. Because I remember in Bali they had like this weird app, and I don't remember what it was called, but we used it and it was so much cheaper. It was like 3 of their money, and like I said, $100 US dollars was 1.5 million of their money. So imagine how much 3 of whatever their money was to us was like a few cents. So just being able to like research and see what their form of transportation is and how can you get around as a tourist out there can save you a lot of money and a lot of heartache, because you don't want to be like, you guys don't have Uber and Lyft here. Like, that's crazy. It's crazy to think that other places don't have Uber and Lyft, but that is literally the case. Also, you can also try to like rent or have a taxi driver for like the whole day, because I've done that a few times, and it can save you some money and like time. Like, you don't have to be in and out multiple people's cars. You just have this one specific driver, and they're usually very friendly and very knowledgeable about the country you're in, and can give you a lot of tips and tricks. And you know, it's just easier to have one driver than multiple drivers. You gotta wait for them. Your driver's usually there, will walk you through, speak to like the natives or locals if you have any questions or need any help. So also keep that in mind. Also, luggage fees. So traveling internationally, you might have luggage fees and then you might not. So when I went to Thailand, Bali, there was no luggage fees, but when I went to Europe, there are luggage fees. So I think it's you have to just look to see if it's included or not. But sometimes the airfare, if you get the airfare that includes the luggage, you save more money than paying for the luggage at the airport, which is important, because you want to save as much money as you can, because the more money you save, the more money you have to spend on your vacation, or the quicker you could go on your next vacation. Like, that's the way I think about it. The more money I get to save, the more money I could use to my next vacation, honestly. So, but a lot of luggage fees are for like Europe. A lot of places do charge luggage fees, unfortunately, but getting included with your airfare can save you a lot of money, just saying. And then next is travel insurance. I'm not a very big believer in travel insurance. So yeah, I'm not a very big believer, but the reason why it's on my list is because travel insurance comes with like medical insurance. I've known that I like only book it when it comes with the medical insurance. So like if you book a hotel through Expedia, they'll ask you if you want to add like travel insurance, and the travel insurance does include like medical insurance, because God forbid something happens out there, you want to be covered. You don't want to be like, oh, now I'm in this amount of money in debt in this foreign country. You just want to be prepared for those. I know my friend once told me that her friend got into a really bad accident, like a motorcycle accident in Bali, and like she spent like a month there. Like, she had like multiple surgeries, and God forbid that ever happened to you. You want to be able to have the insurance and have that sense of security with the travel insurance, because I don't even know what I would do, but as long as you have it, you're safe. You'd rather be safe than sorry, guys. So keep that in mind. Also, it's important to inform your bank of the places that you're going to be traveling to, because you don't want your card to get declined. Not cute whatsoever. And you also want to make sure with your bank, if they charge you for transaction fees, because I know both of my credit cards at the time did charge me foreign transaction fees, and I didn't know that, and also my debit card. So, and I was wasting money on that, like the fees that they were charging me if I kept swiping my card. So you might want to think about not using your card or getting a travel credit card that doesn't charge you the fees. So that's what I ended up doing, because even if you call Uber or Lyft on your phone and you use your regular card and they charge you fees, they'll charge you fees because it's in the country's currency. It's not going to be in USD just because it's on Uber and Lyft. So just keep that in mind when you're traveling, because we're just trying to save some money, honestly. And then also, this is very important because I've never been to a country where I needed to get vaccinations, but there are a lot of countries that you do need to get vaccinated for. And just let your doctor know you're leaving the country, and are there any vaccinations you should receive before you go. I know when I went to Thailand, they wanted me to take malaria pills. I didn't take them, nor did I catch malaria, because I know malaria is more so located in Africa, from my knowledge of malaria. But just letting them know and having that conversation with your doctor, because you don't want to ever go to a country and they have this disease that you've never heard of, and it could have been prevented if you would have had the vaccination. So just be mindful, honestly. And also, this is very important, check international phone plans. I know that when I went to Thailand, I got a hotspot that had like 10 gigs per day that me and my best friend shared. But that was before I knew that I personally have an international plan. It comes with my phone plan. I have a Sprint, for those of you who don't know. And like as soon as I touch down in the country, they'll send me a text message that's saying text messages are free, data is free, and 25 cents per minute for call. So they'll let me know how much I have to pay, or if it's free, or what the deal is in each country that I ever went to. And I think that's very important, because you need to know if you're going to be able to communicate with people, or and if you're not, or if you are, how much is it going to cost. You don't want to ever be like, see your phone bill when you get back and it's like $800. Like, that's astronomical. But most plans, I think, don't charge that much. I know my friend, when I went to Europe with her, they charged her $10 per day, which I don't think is that bad, to like use your phone in its entirety, and that's like your only communication with the world. You could call Ubers, Lyft, you could look up things, restaurants and stuff like that. So I always think it's good to have a working phone that you can use like the internet and call and text people. So just check into that, because a lot of people don't, and then they get screwed at the end. And y'all, I don't want that to happen to you. So this is something that I don't really do, but my mom does, and I think it's really useful, because I feel like when I was away in Amsterdam, and our president said that he was banning travel, and if you weren't back into the States by whatever he was saying, it's very scary being abroad and that happening. But I think it would have put me more at ease if like my mom had my passport, like copies of it and stuff like that, because then she could have like, she did talk to the embassy while we were away and like made sure that we were good. But like just having her have those documents, God forbid anything happens, God forbid I lose my passport, God forbid someone steals my bag, God forbid anything, you want another person to be able to have your passport, because that's your document to get back into the States. If you don't have that, I don't even know what would happen. I don't even want to find out, because that's scary, because I'm from the States. Imagine like, oh yeah, you don't have a passport, you have to stay here, and then my mom has to do all this work, and it takes like a few weeks for me to get a new passport, a replacement passport, for me to come back into the States. Like, what am I going to do in a foreign country for X amount of time? But that's worst case scenario. But you always want to be safe than sorry when you're traveling abroad, because it's a whole different ball game. So these are just some tips on how to travel internationally. If you have any questions about any of the tips I've given you, or if you just need help, let me know down in the comments down below, because I'm literally here to help you. I'm like a travel guru. I love traveling. It's like my favorite pastime, and I just want to help you guys out. So if you need any help, I'll also help you plan and stuff like that. Just let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I gotta see you in my next video.